When you do the messy work, the late-night debugging, the pixel-perfect icons, the test cases that only reveal themselves at 3 a.m., you begin to know the product the way a violinist knows a favorite melody. I poured myself into a feature we hoped would make the app catch fire. Wireframes, prototypes, user tests, sleepless nights. I did the heavy lifting because I believed the work mattered. Presentation day was supposed to be a celebration of the team. Instead, my boss walked in like a man who'd penned the symphony. He presented the feature as his brainchild. A strategic initiative I championed. The room clapped. I felt the applause sliding by like rain on glass. Some things you swallow and reread later, in quiet. Then, a potential client asked a technical question so specific, it could only come from someone who'd been deep in the code. How do you handle race conditions in the data pipeline when two users submit conflicting updates? My boss blinked, then smiled like a man about to bluff knowledge. He started throwing jargon around, and it sounded thin. I stood up, intentionally. I walked to the front and explained, plainly and with the tired earnestness of someone who had wrestled with the bug, the approach we took, why the architecture mattered, and how we'd logged, mitigated, and traced errors in production. I described the late-night session where we fixed a case that would have caused data duplication in edge conditions. The client leaned in, interested. Can we speak with the engineer? They asked. That simple request shifted the kitchen. HR did a follow-up audit and tracked commits and timestamps. The prototype history told a story. My branch, my merges, my signature on the tests. It made the narrative irrefutable. My boss argued, tried to weave his story into ours, but the timeline was merciless. When the client later requested me directly for a technical deep dive, my boss couldn't pretend ownership any longer. He apologized in private and probably in public too, but the point remained. The evidence was unambiguous. Karma, in the office, sometimes arrives as a meeting invite. The boss who misattributes work loses credibility, and credibility is hard to rebuild. My name went on the release notes. Someone thanked me in a company-wide message. It wasn't a shouting match. It was quiet and bureaucratic and ultimately more satisfying. The kind of justice that holds when facts line up with truth.